Hi, Karen. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're getting in lots of stitches today. I'm still sort of learning the YouTube live thing. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Peaches C. Hi, Lazy Linda. Glad you could catch it too. I figured I would just come on here for a little bit and just have you join me while I'm stitching. So I've been working on my whip into shape piece pretty much all day today, which is the Fruits of Plenty. Um, so I'll show you guys in a little bit where I'm at on that, but that's what I'm stitching on. It's been a really nice relaxing day here today. I went for a little run this morning in the morning and beautiful weather. So I did about 5 miles. Not the run that I had envisioned for today, but still a good run, which was nice. Hi, Catherine. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, it was a very nice day. So I did that first, and then came back and had some coffee and breakfast, and then just got right down to stitching. Um, and then I was lucky to join a few Zoom calls today, which was nice. I got to stitch with some people, some friends, and um, that helped the day go by quickly too. I Peaches, I'm getting ready for my move. As you can see, all the boxes and everything behind me. This is probably the messiest live that there ever was. But no, I am getting ready. The actual move is going to happen on Thursday for all of the big stuff, and yeah, so it's just a matter of finishing up the last minute things and putting it in boxes and getting ready to go. But I feel much better about it now than I did maybe like 2 weeks ago. So in a much better place. You'll have to all let me know what you are stitching on in the chat. Let me know what projects you're working on. I'd be curious to see what everybody's stitching today. Yeah, the furniture piled up is that's that's the move that's going to happen. So I've got my little kitchen island here, and the boxes beside it, and my internet for the new place is right there. So it's kind of all over the place. Oh yeah, it is late in Scotland. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Thank you for joining, even just for a little bit. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, thanks for joining, even though it is late. Hi, Rosa. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I figured this was a good day to try this out when I have, I've been packing so much and just all the logistics that go along with moving that I decided today would be a good day to take a break from it since I have until Thursday when the actual move is. So all day today, I haven't done any sort of packing or dealing with that. I've just been kind of relaxing and stitching. So it's been nice. But I figured since I had the whole day dedicated to stitching, maybe I would try my first live and come on here and yeah, see how it goes. Oh, thanks, Pauline. Yeah, that is a little late for you. I hadn't maybe visioned of coming on here earlier in the day, and then the day just got away from me. So um, here I am tonight. Hi, Angela from Costa Rica. Thank you for joining. Karen is working on a needlepoint. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That sounds super cute. Oh, it has owls on it too. That sounds awesome. Needlepoint is so fun. I've really enjoyed the bear piece that I have in needlepoint. That'll come back out soon, so stay tuned. Um, but yeah, that's been been a lot of fun. It's definitely a different experience than cross stitching, but once you get used to it, it's good. I like it. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for joining. How's everyone's day been? Have you been getting some stitches in today? Have you been working on a specific project? I'd love to know what you're working on or what you're stitching on. Or if you've joined into the Whip into Shape challenge, I'd love to know that too, because I know today is technically the last day of the original challenge. So yeah, this is really the home stretch. It's been a lot of fun. Catherine is stitching an animal cracker. Oh, Chili, that's so cute. That's the penguin? Is that right? I feel like Chili is the penguin, if I remember right. Yeah, that's good. Oh, Fisher King, that's also a good one. The long dog samplers. Yeah, two great pieces. You know, I love a good long dog. I love my saga. Oh, Snow Wizard by Randall Spangler. 85%, Pauline. That's amazing. That's a huge accomplishment. I feel like stitching on a heaven and earth design is always fun. I really hope that in my new apartment, I'll be able to get back to some more full coverage stitching. I think I'll have maybe a little bit of a better setup. And yeah, I've really just had the itch to do some more full coverage. It's been so long since I've worked on, I had started the Marvelous Circus by Amy Stewart. From Hade, from Heaven and Earth Designs. And I'm only about 2,000 stitches in, so I've just got that tiny little corner up in the top done. But yeah, hoping to get back to that. I've really been itching for some full coverage stitching. Hi, Rachel, and maybe Brian as well. I'm not sure. They are going to be continuing with the New York City Marathon training. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be great to have you join into Whip into Shape. An ink circles piece as well. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad so many of you are going to continue on, even though the original goal didn't go as planned, or the original race didn't go as planned, I should say. But I'm definitely excited to be training for the New York City Marathon, and I think that will be a great race as well. So I'm happy to have you stitching along. Karen just received her first chart for the first animal cracker. Christmas sausage. Oh, Frankie, that is a cute one. They're all cute. I really do love them. It's hard picking what I would choose as my first one if I had to, because they're all such lovely pieces. Well, I can show you guys where I'm at on my Fruits of Plenty if you would like. Oh, Tracy says we do a Stewart Saturday Sal. Oh, fun. That sounds good. Maybe I'll have to pull out my Amy Stewart piece on Saturdays. So here is where I'm at with Fruits of Plenty. Yeah, I'm really happy with the progress I've gotten in today so far. Let's see. So far, I'm at 719 stitches for the day today. And what I worked on today was I finally completed this motif here. I had been working on that for a number of weeks and finally finished that. Then I moved on to, I really wanted to get one of my initials in. So sorry about this. There we go. So I finally put the A in, got some of the leaves underneath of it completed. And then when I got on the zooms, I was like, these vines and leaves are going to be way too much counting for a zoom. So I switched over to this lighter green section right in through here. And this part of the pattern, I love stitching. It's not full coverage because you're stitching in the negative, you're stitching around the design, but there's just enough full coverage that you can really, just go with your floss, you load one needle and you can just really keep stitching. You don't have to be counting very much. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. I think I think I'm only 57% of the way through. So I still have a ways to go, but yeah, it's looking really good. Yeah, you would think I would be almost done this piece, but no, there's still a lot of stitching left. Thank you so much for all the kind comments. I'm glad you like the green color. Uh, it was so hard with this one because Jacob's pieces, you really can choose what colors you want. And I loved the original blues that he did, like the darker blue and the lighter blue. But then as I started seeing more people's projects on Instagram and stuff, I was like, oh, but there's so many other good color options. And so I narrowed it down with like three different choices, and I finally went with the green. So yeah, it was hard to decide. How long have I been stitching today? So I kind of started stitching around 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 7 o'clock where I am, just after 7. Uh, so I haven't stitched that whole time. I've taken some breaks for like lunch and to walk Winston and to have dinner, but and I was on a couple of Zooms, but yeah, pretty much I've just been stitching all day today. So that's why my stitch count is higher than normal in a normal day. And this piece, like if you really just work on it monogamously, it does go pretty quickly. It's just such a nice stitch. It flows really well. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going until I get too tired. We'll see what I can get done by the end of the day. And actually, it's probably a little bit higher than 719 because when I did, I'll show you here again, but when I worked on the letter here, because everyone puts in their own initials. So the A, I don't know how many stitches the A is, but that was not in my markup RxP. It was just a blank space to put in your initials. So that probably added some more stitches as well. So maybe I'm a little over, maybe I'm at 750 now, which is pretty good. Catherine, accounting my stitches, says I've been working on my full coverage tree of books today. Oh, nice. Yeah, slow going. It's probably just a lot of confetti at the moment. Is that right? I know full coverage, sometimes it feels so slow, like you're not getting anywhere. And it's not until you like pull it back at the end of the day that you realize how much you actually did. I know when I'm working on my stack of pancakes piece, it's like I can work on it all day and maybe get 250, 300 stitches because it's just such high confetti. But then at the end of the day, when I'm done and can just pull it back, I realize how much I actually got done. And it's little by little that gets it through. So yeah, a good bit of confetti. Okay, so chunks of black are nice too. It's good when a full coverage piece has kind of a mixture of confetti and some block stitching because you can kind of switch back and forth between the two. Although I've been really enjoying the diagonal method with my stack of pancakes. And although that doesn't allow for block stitching, it really kind of helps the piece come together in a nice way for me that I've really enjoyed. So that's true. Taking a picture, you're right. You're right, Pauline. Taking a picture at the beginning of the month and then at the end of the month, it really shows how far you've come, even though it feels like you haven't gotten anywhere. Stitching in the museum. Hello, how are you doing? You started stitching Kathy Barrick's Parliament of Owls. Oh, nice. That's great. First Kathy Barrick piece. That's a great one to stitch along. I don't know if you can hear Winston in the background, but he, I guess, just got up from his little nap. Do you want to come say hi? You want to come say hi? Come here. Come. He's unsure if he wants to say hello. Come here. Come. Come. Come here. Come. We'll pull Winston up. He was unsure if he wanted to say hello, but here he is. You gonna say hi? He's been stitching with me, although I think he's a little like concerned as to why I haven't moved from this chair all day. He keeps coming up on my lap and stitching for a little while, and then I'll put him down. He'll go rest in his bed for a little bit, and then I'll come back over to the chair. And yeah, he's saying hi. Are you saying hello? But no, he's a very good stitching buddy. Except when he's sitting on my lap, he really doesn't like the fabric or the floss to touch him. So if he's trying to sleep on my lap and I happen to, rub the fabric against him, he looks up at me like, "Why did you do that?" So he's a very particular stitchy buddy. But yeah, I hope you're all having a good Sunday. I know here in the States we have the day off tomorrow for Labor Day, which is nice. So it's a longer weekend. That also gives me a little extra time to pack tomorrow and gives me a good excuse to stitch today. But yeah, if you're not here in the US, I hope you're having a good weekend as well. Winston and I just finished our walk for the day, and it was so lovely outside. We've been having really lovely weather here in New York. It really feels like fall, where the mornings and the evenings cool down and are in the upper 50s to lower 60s Fahrenheit, and the days still warm up, so it's really nice. And it was a really good walk with Winston. I came home and I ordered some Indian food for dinner and just finished that a little bit ago and decided to come on here. So yeah, overall, it's been a really good day. It's been so nice to be with friends and other stitchers today. When it probably would have been easy for me to feel sad that I'm not running the race that I thought I would, but um, yeah, it's been nice to have everyone's company today and have a solid day. Temps in Alabama have been dropping to a low of 64 today. Yeah, and that feels so nice, especially for running. It's like that type of weather is just lovely to run in. So I've really been enjoying that. I feel like I lost some of the floss I had pulled earlier. Well, does that ever happen to you where you like pull a strand of floss, a six-stranded um, chunk, and then you use one of the strands and then you can't find the other six? I think that's what just happened to me. It always pops up eventually, but I don't know how I lose it when I'm right here at my desk and everything is right here in front of me, but yet somehow things disappear. Yeah. Pauline says she finds it on her sleeve. Exactly. Like I usually find it on my pants, or maybe I'm sitting on it or something. Hi, EJ. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Making things with string. Hello. How's your day going? I hope you're getting some good marathon stitching in as well. Mainly X Stitch. Hello. Yeah, I decided to just pop on here a little bit. I figured if I was stitching most of the day today, it'd be fun to kind of stitch with you guys for a little bit and share where I was at on my whip. Yeah, I find it everywhere. At least Winston doesn't really go for the floss. Like he doesn't try to eat it or anything, which is good. But it always happens as soon as I pull like a new strand of floss and I take one of the strands and leave the rest, then they just disappear. EJ, are you working on put a bird on it now? If you've got some time to stitch on it. Ooh, a buttons and beads kit, making things with string. That's awesome. Almost ready for the beads. That's exciting. All right, let me find where I'm at again. Yeah, some people were asking me earlier if I think I'm going to continue the Fruits of Plenty for the rest of the Whip into Shape Challenge, and I think the answer is yes. I've really just enjoyed this piece, and it's funny because it's been a piece that since I started it, I would work in like large chunks. So I would pull it out for Whip Go or something, and it would get 4,000, 5,000 stitches, and then it would go away for months, and I wouldn't touch it. And this has been such a nice way to work on it a little bit each week because I really do enjoy this piece, most of Jacob's pieces from Modern Folk Embroidery. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to continue the Whip into Shape sort of extension with this piece. Awesome. EJ's going to work on the birds for Put a Bird on It today. That's great. Yours is looking so good, EJ. A thread bed. Yes, I do need a thread bed. You're right. So many people talk about those, and I've never had one to try. Um, I guess I always thought of a thread bed as that's where you throw like your small scraps of floss, but I guess you could also throw like the larger piece that you have. I never thought about that, but I should do that. That way I don't lose what I'm working on. Oh, thank you, EJ. Yeah, the I was so happy to have a finish on Put a Bird on It. The final stitches in that piece were just so much fun for me. I shared that on my latest floss tube, and I think I would pull it out, but I think it is now packed away in a box. So, um, yeah, if you haven't seen that, you can check out my latest floss tube episode that shows the finish. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm so happy with how those colors came out. It's a variegated yellow floss on a green fabric, and when I first started that piece, I really had my doubts as to how that was going to go. I'm going to get down, Winston. Okay, Winston has had enough YouTube time, I guess. But I really had my doubts of like, is this going to look okay with the whole thing in yellow and a green background? But I'm so happy with how it turned out, and yeah, just really enjoyed the final stitches on it, even though the fabric was not the nicest to stitch on. Ooh, believe in yourself. You're kitting up some future projects right now. That's exciting. Do you guys like the kitting up process? I think for me, I really like the kitting up process. I don't necessarily like the starting process. The starting a piece, it's always nerve wracking to me. Finding the right spot on the fabric, making sure you've got all your margins, making sure you're starting in the right place. I don't know. It just always, it's not the most enjoyable to start something. And then once I have it going, or even if it's just a little bit, it could just be like a stitch or two. Once I have it ready and like prepped, then I love it. But the kitting part, that is always fun. Um, yeah, I always really enjoy kitting up a project. I've got a lot of kitted up things in the wings that I'm just waiting to. Donna, you agree? Yeah, starting isn't your favorite part of the process. Yeah, it's just I like the idea of starting a new project, but the actual act of like, getting your fabric ready and finding the center or finding where you're starting at the top or the bottom, it just, I don't know, makes me nervous. And I'd rather just work on something that I already have going that I can just kind of pick up and know where I am. The kitting, yeah, the kitting up process can also be stressful. To find everything, and do you have to pull it from another project? Do you have all the floss you need? Yeah, that can be stressful too, especially if you're changing colors or something. Then you've really got to kind of think about you know what is my conversion going to be, what floss can I use instead, all of that. So that can be a little stressful too. Stitching in the Museum asks, in New York City, do you have to hire a moving company or can you do it yourself? And yeah, New York City is really, I feel like it's even tougher to move here than other places, partially because most of us here don't have cars, right? We rely on public transportation. So moving yourself is really not possible because it's not like we can even put boxes in a car and just go from there. So yeah, you pretty much have to hire a mover, especially if you're moving any sort of large furniture. Um, and that in a way that takes some of the stress off because you don't have to worry about where you're going to park a big moving truck, where you're going to like find a parking at the new apartment and all of that. So they kind of deal with that for you. But it does add another layer of expense and of stress too. But yeah, that's moving in New York. Yeah, my current lease was up at the end of August, and luckily I was able to get it extended through the 15th of September, and um, that has been a huge help because I can't really get into my new apartment until probably like the 2nd or the 3rd of September. So there were going to be like a few days where I didn't have a place to be. So I probably would have had to get a hotel or something. But now that the overlap is happening, I'm much less stressed about it all and can breathe a little bit easier. Um, so, hi Sally from Canada. Oh, you're doing the Katrina relief sampler. That's awesome. Oh, and the new one's going to be Saga from Long Dog. That's perfect. You know, I love that piece. Um, yeah, that one is it's a huge, huge project, but it's so enjoyable. Every stitch is fun and each arch is so different and they're all packed with so many different motifs that it really does not get boring. You know, I thought maybe stitching it all in one color on such a large piece like that would really tire me out, but I've really enjoyed the process of working on that for just one day a week. It's really easy to get a lot of stitches in. I don't get burnt out on the project, and um, yeah, I can just sort of enjoy it and then put it away at the end of the day. And then every time I pull it out each week, it's like kind of coming back to an old friend. So it's good, but that's great. You'll be stitching on that too. So how am I doing on my first live? I don't even know that I've watched very many YouTube lives. I think I watched Pam and Steph's live, but that was on Instagram for their whip parade on New Year's Eve. But yeah, I haven't even watched very many YouTube lives. And so I have no idea how this is going. I don't know if this is exciting for you guys or if I'm uh, just stitching in silence too much. Let me know how I'm doing. But either way, it's great to have all your company. I'm so glad you're here, and happy to have you joining me while I'm stitching. Hopefully, you're stitching as well, so we can just keep each other company and make some good progress. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was worried about that. I'm like, how am I going to read the comments and be on the video and stitch all at the same time? So I'm trying my best to keep up with everything. Hi, Peg. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Carlene, thank you. Appreciate that. Donna says she doesn't get to go to retreats very often, so this is about the only way to interact with fellow stitchers. Oh, that's great. I do think there's something really special about stitching with other people. And most of the time we do the stitching by ourselves, but I've only been to one retreat, and that was StitchCon this past year, and I had so much fun. That was just really a great experience getting to meet people and just be in a room with hundreds of stitchers. That was such a cool experience. Um, so yeah, if we can provide that a little bit for you tonight, that's awesome because you're not alone stitching. Believe me, we're all here with you. Yeah, I don't really know too many stitchers in my area, and honestly, I don't really know that there's too many in New York City as a whole. We don't even have a cross stitch shop in the city. We have a couple needlepoint shops and a bunch of knitting and crocheting yarn shops, but nothing really for cross stitch. So I don't have anyone in person really that I stitch with on a regular basis. Um, However, in the move, I was getting rid of my Lowry stand because I've got a new stand that I've been using, and I was like, I don't know if anyone is going to buy this in New York or not because are they even going to know what it is? Um, But I ended up having a really lovely lady interested in the stand. She's just getting into to cross stitching, and so she came with her daughter and purchased the stand for me, which was awesome, and she was so grateful. I was actually able to give her a needle minder and a pair of scissors as well to go with it because I knew she was just starting out. And then I asked her if she had discovered floss tube yet, and she said she had, and she watched a couple of them. And so I was able to share her channel or share my channel with her, and she was so excited. And she must have gone home and watched a couple episodes because she did comment on my video, which was so cute. So maybe I do have a stitchy friend in New York City. We'll have to see if we can get that going. But yeah, definitely always nice to stitch with people. Oh yeah, Donna's working on One Nation, the flag piece. That's awesome. Yep, it's a holiday weekend, so we've got an extra day coming up, which is great. Somehow I think I got off here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, time to frog. I'm talking too much and got a little off. So I'm going to start frogging this a little bit. That's okay. All part of the process, right? I was supposed to do 4 rows of 3 stitches each, and I only did 3. And I was wondering why the little motif was looking smaller than it should be, but I'm working right in, it's hard to see, right in here. And right here, this little leaf motif is 1 too short. So I'm going to frog that out and restitch that. That's all right, though. It's hard to count and read the chat and be doing all of this. LJ, thank you so much for joining. I know you said it's close to midnight, but yeah, really glad you enjoyed the marathon stitching day, and thank you for joining. Get some good rest. When you guys have to frog, do you usually do it immediately? This is probably about maybe 15, 20 stitches. Do you do it immediately once you realize the mistake, or do you then just put it aside? I'm kind of the person that I have to frog it immediately. I don't want it to wait. Partially because then if I wait, I don't know what I need to frog when I come back to it. But also, if I can, I prefer to frog whatever I'm working on and then redo it at least to that point, so that when I pick it up the next time, I don't have to redo any stitches. I've already got to that. Wendy, yeah, you do it immediately. Yeah, EJ does it immediately too. Yeah, I think that's best. I think if I leave it, then I forget what I need to frog and what I need to do, and probably just get even more frustrated. Peg is working on Betsy Ross Quaker from the Twin Peaks Primitive. Awesome. That's a good piece too. Perfect for this weekend. Yeah, frog it and push past it so the disappointment isn't there. That's me for sure. I like to at least frog what I'm working on and then restitch it to the point where I'm past what I needed to frog. And usually in my head, it's like, once I realize I've made a mistake, it seems like such a big task to frog it out, right? But once I actually do it, it's only a couple minutes of time at most. It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Why was I, why did that make me so mad? Why was I really stressing about that? Karen, yeah, it is really nice to feel like you're part of an international community as well. Yeah, the stitching community definitely goes all over the world, and it's been so fun to meet people from all over on this floss tube. And you know, You might not ever get to meet them in person, but it's so great to interact about this wonderful hobby that we have together, and we already have something in common. And yeah, I really enjoy that part of it too. True. Yeah. If you're really tired, maybe that's not the best time to be frogging. I get that. If it's really late at night or something and you don't want to, you're too tired to get past that point. Oh yeah. If you don't frog it immediately, then it just, you think about it nonstop. That makes sense too. Okay. Frogging is done. Now I can progress. Hopefully I'll at least get past where I was on this live. Also, do you all use a needle threader or do you just thread the needle without? I I used to use one of these all the time, this little needle threader. And then I found this one. I think I got this on Amazon, and it's very similar. You just put this end through the needle and then put your floss through here, but it's really thin. I think it's even a little thinner than this metal kind, and so I've just started using this, but I really like it. Um, I don't even try to thread the needle without a needle threader. Can't do it. Oh yeah, frogging. If you don't frog immediately, then the piece goes in timeout. I hear that one. Hi, Red Floss Stitcher. Thanks for joining. Yeah, if you have to frog a lot in a short period of time, that is definitely a sign of maybe it's time to go to bed. Well, I'm hoping I don't get to that point yet because I still would like to stitch for a little bit longer if I can. uh, it's amazing how fast the day goes when you're just stitching. Um, yeah, the time just sort of flies by. You just kind of get in the zone and go. Mainly X stitch you are a floss licker. No shame in that. I think that's what my mom used to do when she taught me how to cross stitch back in the day. I think she would lick the floss to get it through the needle. Red floss stitcher, you get so upset that you just put the project aside if you have to frog. That's fair too. Everybody kind of deals with it in their own way, right? Guess it depends how much you have to frog too. No needle minder or no needle threader for Peg. She says that's too many things to keep track of. I get that. It is just another thing, but it's I always have mine right here. It's like my scissors and my needle threader. That's those are the two like big things I need. Because even if I'm stitching in hand like I am with this piece, then I don't need a needle minder. But my scissors and my needle threader, I've got to have. Donna says she's a licker and a stabber now. Nothing wrong with that. Figure out what works for you and you go for it. Oh yeah, the ballpoint needles. Yeah, some of them do have a bigger eye. Mostly use threaded when playing thread chicken. Oh yeah, that works too. I tried the ballpoint needles and I did really like them for finding the holes. I used them when I was stitching on Ada. The problem for me with them came when I tried to end my floss. With the ballpoint, I found that it was really hard to run the floss underneath the stitches in the back of my work. That's typically how I end my stitches as I run the floss underneath the stitches. And the ball at the end of that made it really tough to get under those stitches. So I kind of stopped using the ballpoint needles, but I did really like them for finding the holes in the project. Yeah, that seemed to be better. But oh yeah, bento box. That's smart. I do need to get some sort of stitching carrying case that I can just put everything in. Because typically I'm stitching here at my desk, and so I just kind of have things laid out on my desk. But it would be nice to have one thing to kind of put everything in. I have this little, this is almost like a little key, a little thing for keys, I think, to put in. And this is where I kind of store spare things, but it just sits on my desk, and it's not very travel friendly because it doesn't have like a lid or anything. But that's where most of my supplies go. Okay, so you don't use a needle threader for DMC, but if you're using a different floss, you do. Yeah, I usually use a size 28 needle too. Um, that's that's the size I prefer, honestly. Oh yeah, Lil said she just got a puppy. That's exciting. What kind of dog did you get? But yeah, that definitely would take away from your cross stitch time if you're worried about the puppy eating the floss. Winston doesn't seem to bother it. He has never tried to eat the floss really. He just doesn't like it when it's touching him. Yeah, the ball tip needles. Tony, you agree that it is a little harder to end the thread on the back under the stitches, but yeah, they really are nice for the actual act of stitching. I just didn't prefer it for ending the floss, ending it on the back. A Ziploc bag works. That's a good option. Nothing wrong with that. You don't need anything fancy. Just something that holds all your cross stitch stuff. Hi, Rosemary. Oh, you're stitching on coming to my garden from Blackbird. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining tonight, or whatever time it is for you. It's evening for me. Yeah, it seems like a lot of us don't necessarily have stitching friends real close. And that's probably why retreats are so popular, right? Because we want to we want to be with people who understand the hobby and love it as well. So it's fun for me to get to stitch with you as well, because it's a little different than doing a floss tube where it's pre-recorded and I can upload it at any time, but I don't really get the live interaction. I get the to read the comments and respond there, which is great. But this is nice where we can actually, all stitch together too. So I'm glad you've all got a project with you that you're working on. Have I tried a detailer for ending the floss on the back? No, I don't think I know what a detailer is actually. Maybe I'll have to look that up afterwards. A detailer. I don't think I've heard that before. Oh yeah, Harvest Moon. Is that's the new virtual retreat from Lindy Stitches, right? I think that's coming up. It's in September, and maybe in a week or two. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go. Definitely looks like there's going to be some fun patterns released there, though, and I do always enjoy those virtual events. Stephanie at Lindy Stitches does such a great job with hosting them, and it's always fun. I've really loved the designer chats. The past couple, they've had finish parade, which is so much fun to see everybody's finishes, and yeah, that's a great way to stay connected too, where it's just sort of a virtual retreat, and you can participate as much or as little as you want. So if I'm available, if I'm around that weekend, I'll definitely be popping in. Catherine's got her ticket already. That's great. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. You can also do the speed dating on the virtual retreat, which sounds intimidating, but it's really fun. You just pop on and they pair you with someone for, I think, is it 5 minutes? And you think 5 minutes sounds like a long time. And then you get chatting about stitching and suddenly it's over. So then you meet somebody new, but it's really a fun way to meet people and to talk to them. Hi, Kathy. Kathy is stitching on, oh, the second shelf of Once Upon a Time from Amy Stewart. Oh, that's exciting. So you're working on some full coverage. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, the move. I will just be ready for the move part to be over so I can get settled into the new place. But I was saying earlier that I am in the mood to stitch full coverage. I think working on my stack of pancakes piece again has really given me that kind of urge because it's full coverage, but not a huge piece. But yeah, it's been really fun. And I kind of want to get back to a piece where I'm not stitching on black, but stitching full coverage. So maybe I'll get my Amy Stewart back out soon. Got a lot of Jersey folks. That's so exciting. Um, have any of you from Jersey been to it's a newer cross stitch shop. I think it's called Born to Stitch. It's in Secaucus, New Jersey. I know that's closer to me. It's actually not that far from me, and I need to go visit. But I've heard great things about the shop and definitely would like to check it out sometime. I'm not sure how far that is from you all, but all right, I'm happy to report I am now past the section I frogged. So that really wasn't too bad. Like I said, it always seems worse in your head when you have to frog a section and it seems really disappointing. But once you actually do it and restitch it, it's like, oh, that didn't take too long. That wasn't that bad. I'll give another quick, because I know we've had a bunch of other people join since I showed. So I'll give you a quick update of where I'm at. This is The Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. Here is the piece in total. And I think I'm about 56, 57% of the way through. And I was saying earlier that the sections I worked on were finishing this motif finally. I jumped over here earlier in the day, put in my initial here, A, worked on some of the vines. And then I was on a couple of Zoom calls earlier, and I was just working on this lighter green section here because that's a nice section of block stitching. And then right up here, that's what I was just working on, and that's what I've restitched. And now you can see this little leaf motif is the right size. Hopefully that's coming across okay. Oh, thank you so much. I really like the greens too. It really is a hard decision of what color scheme to go with for a Jacob piece, but I'm really happy with the greens that I chose. They're both DMC. It's DMC 320 is the lighter green, and then 890 is the darker green, if you were curious. Oh, thank you, Jersey Girl Stitches. I'm glad you're enjoying the updates on this piece. It's definitely been fun to pull it out on a regular basis. I really enjoy that. Ooh, Red Floss Stitcher, you did this one last year. What colors did you choose? Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate it. I also really love how this one's coming together. And yeah, this was one of the very first pieces that I saw when I started getting back into cross stitch and discovered floss tube and everything. I This is one of the first pieces that I sort of found or saw people stitching on, and I was just like, wow, that is incredible. I would love to have that on my wall someday. And little did I know how huge the piece was or how long it would take me to stitch it. But now that I'm working on it, I realize, that doesn't really matter to me because I'm enjoying it so much. I really do just love working on it. And that's what we should be doing with our hobby, right? We should be enjoying it and what we're working on. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Saga is the other piece that I bring out consistently and work on a little bit each week. And that's another one that I just love. It's another huge one, but I am on track I started it on leap day of 2024, and it's my goal to finish it in 4 years. And I am still on track with that. I'm even, I think, slightly ahead of where I need to be. So that's exciting. I should have a finish in that by 2028. but that's another really, really fun one. So I'm up to 767 stitches so far on this piece today. That is, for me, a pretty good marathon stitching day. It's not quite over yet. Um, I'm actually probably a little bit closer to 800 since I put in my initial, which wasn't in the charted piece. So making some good progress today. But again, this kind of day is very rare for me because I didn't really have anything else going on. So I didn't have any other responsibilities today, or I just kind of dedicated this to stitching, other than walking Winston and eating. Red Floss says she used a 3808 and a variegated. Ooh, I bet that's pretty. You know, some of the DMC variegated floss is just gorgeous. Um, it's really fun to see the DMC colors can be just as great, you know, especially for a large piece like this where you do end up using so much floss that it's nice to stick with DMC, a little cheaper. Just gonna grab a drink, stay hydrated. That's important, especially for a runner. Yeah, 308. I'm not sure if that is a turquoise or what color that is. I can't remember. Yeah, two-handed stitching. That is definitely a fun method to learn. I usually do two-handed stitching if I'm working on a piece that's on my scroll frame that I have on a floor stand, and it does take some learning. Like it's a learning curve to get used to the process, but once you once you just keep practicing, it gets easier. So I usually do two-handed stitching if I'm doing it in that situation, or if it's a piece like this where I'm just holding the fabric, then I always kind of stitch in hand. And I like that. I think that also was a learning curve for me. I never thought I would be able to stitch in hand when I first started stitching, but now I love it. I think I'm getting better with learning my tension and how I stitch. And so, yeah, uh, that kind of helps too. But oh, thank you. I'd rather be stitching. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the piece too. I mean, Jacob just has so many amazing pieces. I'm so curious to see what his new Sal is going to be for 2026. I think it's usually in the fall sometime that he releases what it's going to look like, or at least gives some sneak peeks about it. But I haven't seen anything yet, so I'm going to stay tuned. I've heard good things that I think he shared a little bit on his Patreon. If you're a member of his Patreon, I think he shared a little bit of what the pattern is going to look like, and people seem to really, really like it. So I'm curious about that. Not that I need another start, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Oh, awesome. Seashore Stitcher, you're working on your Riolas kit. That's amazing. Which one are you working on right now? I forget. I will definitely tell Winston hello. Yeah, I have two Riolas kits, I think, in my stash that I have not started. I think at least one of them is the wool acrylic threads. So I'm excited to pull that out at some point. Oh, Nancy, don't even worry about slacking on the challenge, you know? Sometimes it just doesn't go as planned. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying Saga. Okay, now I need to know what. Oh, it's a red floss. Okay. Oh wait, no, I need to check. What is 3808? I'm gonna look it up right now. Oh yeah, it is like a beautiful sort of turquoise color. I bet that with the variegation looks amazing on Fruits of Plenty. Yeah, it's amazing I can read the comments and stitch and still talk at the same time, so I feel you. I think a lot of times when people do lives, they have someone kind of monitoring the comments or like reading it, but it's just me. So hopefully this is going all right. I hope this is fun for you all. It's definitely been fun for me to get to interact in real time as opposed to just the comments. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to think about trying to do this more often if it's something you guys would be interested in. Yeah, and looking up to the camera, right? I feel like I'm looking down at my stitching the whole time. Definitely let me know if you have any suggestions for how to make a live a little bit more interesting, or if I what I could do to improve it. I'm I'm learning. This is my very first one ever, so I'm just I'm just winging it at this point. Winston is hearing the neighbor dogs, so he's a little concerned at the moment. It's okay, bud. Nothing's happening. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know if you can hear him whining in the background or not. Do you want to come back up here? Come. Want to say hello again? I know you heard those puppies, huh? Oh, thank you. I appreciate the compliments. Glad you're enjoying it. Winston is talking too, apparently. Yeah, I'll have to think about doing this a little more often if you guys are enjoying it. It is nice to sort of interact in this way, and it gives you guys a chance to kind of talk with each other too in the chat. I know in the comments section, there's not really a chance for you all to have a conversation either, but this is a nice way to get to know people too in the chat. I think I'm just going to keep going with this lighter green section. It seems to be working for me at the moment. A little less counting. Twin pointed needle. I don't know what that is either. So I need to look up a detailer and a twin pointed needle. It's interesting. Hi, Eliza from Arizona. Eliza, thank you for joining. Yeah, you don't get anything fancy here. It's just me and Winston. We're pretty much like we are on the video or on the floss tubes. Oh, good. Glad you're having a good time. Hi, Rita. Rita Marie Stitching. Thanks for joining. So have any of you been having a marathon stitchy day today? I know I talked about how I started kind of at 10 a.m. and it's now almost 8 o'clock here and I'm still stitching, but have any of you been stitching all day or a big portion of the day today? I'd be curious to know. Hi, Becca. Thanks for joining. Becca's near in Georgia. Hi, Joanne. Oh, 123 Stitches has both a detailer and a twin point. What was it? Twin point needle? Twin peak needle? I'll look those up once we're done here. Hi, Wendy. Wendy's been stitching off and on since noon. That's amazing, and it's now 9:30. Hope you made some good progress in that time. That's awesome. Oh, Rosemary, thank you. I'm glad you've been stitching all day too. It's definitely not the marathon that I had in mind, but I really am loving a stitching marathon, especially with all of you. This is a great way to sort of end the day with all of you. Ooh, 400 stitches on your full coverage. That is quite an impressive amount, for sure. You marathon stitch most nights, 7:30 to 2:30. Yeah, that is a long time of stitching too. Oh yeah, I've heard it's hot in LA. Some people were saying even in like Northern California, it was really, really hot. That you were having a heat wave right now. Here in New York, the weather has been just lovely. Beautiful fall, kind of cooler mornings, and then the days still warm up to mid 70s. That's been nice. Hey, 3 hours is still a good amount of time for stitching. Sometimes life just gets in the way. We got other things we have to do too, but 3 hours is a great amount of time to be stitching today. Oh yeah, that's a good idea to prepare some questions of what we could talk about in the next live or questions we might ask. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hi, Alyssa. Oh, you've been stitching all day too. You're almost at 1,000 stitches. That's amazing. That's some really good progress for sure. Ooh, the Riolis compass. That's a good one. Glad you're working on that one, Barbara. I have, I'm not even going to remember what it's called, but it's a larger Riolis, of course, because I love my big projects, but it's a piece of watermelons. It's like a still life kind of watermelons. I think it's one of their, I forget what the line is called, Premier or like one of their bigger kits. Um, I love it. I can't wait to start it sometime. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I think that might also be on a black fabric. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. Stitching in the museum. Thank you so much for stitching on and off today. That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate the support. And I am super excited for the New York Marathon too. I don't want to downplay that one at all because that is always such a fun race. The crowds are amazing in that marathon. So I'm really excited to keep the challenge going and to work towards that. We'll just keep staying positive with it. Hey, Jason, how you doing? Jason and I were on a Zoom call earlier today with some friends, which was fun. Hi, Joyce. Oh, you're from St. Louis. That's awesome. Welcome to the live chat. Stitching like crazy. Yeah, same. You missed it earlier, Jason. I had to frog a little bit. It's frogging live. Hi, Michelle. Oh, good. I'm glad your busy day is kind of winding down and you're getting some stitching time. It's always the perfect way to end the day, especially if it's been a busy one. There's nothing like just spending a little time and yeah, getting to stitch at the end of the day. It's always very relaxing. Yeah, frogging is the worst, but then wait till you have to do it on a YouTube live in front of everyone. No, it really wasn't that bad. I'm glad I caught it early. Now I can just keep moving forward. But yeah, New York should be fun. I'm excited for the race. I'm excited to keep the training going, and I'm also glad that all of my running that was supposed to be for Australia won't be in vain. But I'm also really excited to keep the challenge going. So many of you have already told me you're going to continue with the challenge, or you're going to pick a new and keep going. And I think that's great. I think it's been really, really cool to see how much work we've gotten on these pieces for the for whip into shape. So I am so happy to just be a part of that challenge. Yeah, I'm glad you got a lot done, Donna. I will definitely consider that, as I keep training for races and keep doing things. I'll try to keep it going. Hi, Joyce. No problem. Thanks for joining. Were Fox and Rabbit, did they just post a new video, or were they doing a live as well or something? Barbara. Yeah, this was definitely just a drive through Frogtown. I did not get out of the car. I definitely did not need any real estate there. I think I just drove through. Yeah, that always cracked me up too when you would talk about stopping in Frogtown, and you had to get out of the car, you had to have some lunch there, you spend a little time. But no, this was a very easy one, very painless. Thank goodness. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear all that noise in the background. There's a bunch of cars going down the street. Yeah, you pay taxes in Thread in Frogtown. Oh, you finished beating the Queen Mermaid today? That is incredible. That is a huge feat, because I think that one has a ton of beads, right? That's awesome. You were able to get that done today. Oh, they put it on a new video. Nice. I'll have to go check that out. I saw, because I know they were at the attic for, what is it called? Summer school, maybe? Is that what it's called? But I saw they were there, and they posted on their Instagram a picture. This is Fox and Rabbit I'm talking about. They posted a picture on their Instagram of the crazy dust storm that they had to drive through. That was wild. I've never had to drive through a dust storm, but that looked really crazy. I'm glad they were safe, because I think they just kind of kept driving through it, but that was pretty crazy. Does anyone have any fun Labor Day plans for tomorrow if you're in the US, since we have the day off? My plans will consist of packing, packing boxes. It's always nice to have the time off. Definitely grateful for that. Doing more stitching. Nice. That is the perfect long weekend when you get an extra day of stitching. Oh yeah, the Christmas calendar. That is such a good piece from Tiny Modernist. You're almost at a finish. That's awesome. If you keep stitching with the whip into shape extension, you might have a finish, Linda. We'll get you there eventually. Oh, thank you for joining while you could. I know you said it's the middle of your workday there, but thank you for joining. Oh yeah, I get that. You stitched too hard for Whip into Shape, so now you have to catch up on probably chores and laundry and cleaning and all of that tomorrow. You're helping out at a quilt shop with a friend, fold fabric. That's awesome. Sounds fun. Ooh, baking. That's exciting. Baking is a good day off activity too. Yeah, this holiday really snuck up on us. I August just flew by. I really can't believe how fast it went, and suddenly we're here at Labor Day. I think Labor Day does seem earlier this year because it falls on the first. Sometimes it can be like later in September, so it really felt like it just snuck up on us this time. So no plans is fine. Just more excuse to keep stitching. Oh no, Wendy says the worst frogging incident. A dog punctured a hole in her heaven and earth design with his teeth. Ooh, you had to frog a 1.5 by 1.5 inch area. Yeah, that does not sound fun. That sounds like you bought a house in Frogtown. You must have stayed there for a little while. Oh, it's Labor Day in Canada too tomorrow? I didn't realize that. I didn't realize we shared the same day on that one, but that's awesome. Nice, 210 stitches on auto montage. That's great. Jen will be very proud of your diagonal stitching, especially if you're doing two diagonals. We're talking about Jen, the caffeinated crafter. If you haven't watched her, I love her channel so much. She's great. Hi, Sunny Cal. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I didn't really give much notice that I was going to do this because I wasn't sure what time of day it would work out for me to pop on here, but now seemed like a good time, so I thought I'd give it a shot. It's already been a little over an hour. I can't believe that. So I probably won't stay on too much longer. I might finish this section that I'm on, or this strand of floss, and then maybe we'll have to call it quits for this time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's definitely fun for me getting to interact in this way. Of course, you're doing two diagonals. I love it. That's perfect. Jen will be so happy. Oh yeah, the French rose. Such a good pattern. I really like that one. That's the first tone on tone piece I've ever done. And although it is hard to stitch sometimes, I really enjoy it. I like how it's looking. And it's so hard to show it on camera because it just kind of washes out. But in real life, I really like how it looks. So definitely recommend. And that's a really nice piece to try it out with. Linda says Jen is going to change her plans again. Can't say I'm surprised, but that means I need to catch up and figure out what we're doing. She's so inspiring though, because every time she changes her plans, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should try that. How did I end up living in New York? Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania and I went to college in a small um, liberal arts college in Southern Illinois, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And after college, I thought I had an internship lined up in Nashville, Tennessee. And that kind of fell through in 2008. And I moved back to Pennsylvania with my parents, and stayed there for about 2 years and paid off my school loans and just basically worked and lived at home. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know that I want to live in Pennsylvania right now. and a couple of my friends from college were here in New York. So I thought I'm gonna just come to New York and see if I can make it. Maybe I'll come here for a year or two and then figure out what to do next. And now it's been 15 years. I moved here in 2010 and just never left. So yeah, it's fun being here. Oh, thank you, Joyce. I think I'll try to do maybe lives a little bit more often, if you're all enjoying this. I honestly had no idea how this would go. I thought maybe I would just end up sitting here by myself or not having anything to say. So I hope this is fun for you too. Nice, 160 stitches so far. That's perfect. Great job. Oh, thank you, RJ. Glad you're enjoying the live. You're watching on your TV and reading the comments on your phone. That does sound like a marathon in and of itself. I always think it's funny when, I forget that people watch YouTube on their TV. And so I just can't imagine myself on a big screen TV. Hey, the dirty dishes got to get washed too. So even if you're not stitching, you can wash along. A dirty dish wash along. Yep, I'm still working. Um, Still working full time. I'm lucky because I do get to work remote. So I work from home, and that definitely helps me get more stitching in because I'm able to, if I'm on a meeting that I don't really have to, I just have to be sort of attentive and listening. And stitching actually kind of helps me focus in that respect. So I'm able to kind of stitch during some meetings and things. But um, yeah, still working full time. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad I look okay on a large TV. That's so funny. Oh, I see. So you're commenting on your phone. You can read the comments on your TV. Okay. That makes more sense. I think I'm just about finished with this floss, and then I'll probably have to call it quits for the night. But I'm so glad to have all of you join me. This is great. If I do this again, for sure, I will let you know in advance so you have plenty of time to plan it because this just kind of popped up. Yeah, we used to go to St. Louis a lot, actually. That was sort of our getaway from college. We'd go into the city and explore. I remember the City Museum in St. Louis was awesome. That's one thing that stuck out in my mind. But yeah, we would go pretty frequently. I haven't been back to St. Louis in a long time, though. And if I was a stitcher back then, I probably would have tried to go to Color and Cotton because I think isn't Color and Cotton somewhere near St. Louis? I think, if I'm not mistaken. Emo's Pizza. No, I don't remember trying that. Although it's been a number of years. It's been over 15 years since I've been there. That's crazy. Hi, Helen, Central California. Thanks for joining. All right, let's see. So now I'm at 836 stitches for the day. That's a pretty solid day. Give you one more look at Fruits of Plenty. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery. As most of you probably know, it's my Whip into Shape challenge. And yeah, since we've been chatting and stitching, I was working on this green section here. So I got a little bit more on this side done and filled in this side right here. Earlier today, I got this section done with my initial, And the first thing I did today was finish this motif. So that's all done. But I'm at 57.71% now. Pretty fun. I do love it. Thank you all so much. Yeah, and thank you for joining this very first live that I've ever done. Yeah, I'll definitely have to kind of figure out if I can do this more often, or we can jump on a live together, because this has been a lot of fun. So thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna go grab a drink and keep stitching a little bit longer until I get too tired. But I'll probably post on Instagram my final ending point for the night. But yeah, keep stitching. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. And yeah, we'll talk soon. So bye, everyone.